they're the ones that adopted that stallion named White Cloud. I believe Ginger Catherine. That's when they were fighting with the BLM, the Costa National Forest, National Park Service, and the Montana Fish Wildlife Parks, because they wanted to do away with the Mustangs. But they said they had no history, and so that's where Bert French got a hold of me and asked me about that. And so the Spanish Mustang played a role in the Crow ponies. See, these Spanish Mustangs, when they brought them from, there were three different fusions of horse introduction here. One was from the west, where a lot of the pintos came, from the Nez Perce and the Umatelas. They had fine ponies, and but they didn't have that special breed, that tough horse that the Crows were looking for. And then from the east, where to the Mandan, and that's another fusion of horse came through there. But the toughest horse came from the Spanish settlements in Mexico. Crows would go down there and bring these Spanish Mustangs up this way, but they couldn't ride them. They couldn't really, after they turned them wild, the ones that they didn't use. And then finally, the Crows had to do something because they seen the toughness of those Spanish Mustangs in the mountains there, Devil's Canyon area by Level, Wyoming. So they would look at the breast part here and then all the way to their hoofs. They're really hard. The hoofs, they didn't need no horseshoes. Of course, the Crows and Indians didn't have horseshoes at that time, but they would use the tough hide of old buffalo bulls to put like little stockings on them. And so they realized that the Spanish Mustang didn't need them through all the 4 seasons. So the strays that the Crows had, the ponies that had, then they just crossed them. And then when they crossed them, the coats turn out to your first prototype of a quarter horse. The high hips, hocks, and then going down, and their backs were fit for the pad saddles that most of the northern plains use. And so then they were tough though. They could go without food or without grass or water for a whole week. And so the other tribes didn't have that because they didn't have Spanish Mustangs in this area in their country. So that's why you read in all the books these about the different tribes that we raided a Crow camp. We raided a Crow camp, got some horses. Because of that, horse cutting, a lot of like here, Pegans, there's a lot of them that got caught here and be chased or killed. And so because they always wanted those, they called it the small bone horse, these quarter horses. And then also the colors that the Nez Perce had, the Andalusian, Spanish barb types that then they were spotted all over. They call them ajocha, meaning they have their body white all over is what the translation would be. But they were nice looking horses. So the Nez Perce would trade with the Crows, and then they would in turn get those speckled ponies of these Andalusian kind, and also the Mustangs. And that's where the movie depicting Hidalgo, that Mustang, you know, that's how you see, especially in a country, you know, desolate, the sands in that race where Hidalgo survives. And that's how these horses were here. For one instance, there was a story of in the Baccanoa fields now. They call it Rainy Buttes on just the southwestern corner north of Dickinson, North Dakota, on Interstate 94. Rainy Buttes. There's a story of Iron Eyes, the crow, who went and he had his a bay with the split ears, and he was a Mustang. He was a small bone horse, and so when they were completely surrounded by the Lakota, this Iron Eyes finally got tired of running, and so he had two two boys who were apprentices of being warriors. He threw them on there, on his bay horse, and his bay horse was already had his rump full of arrows, and so Iron Eyes told those boys, when you see my dad, tell him that I fought a good fight, but today I will not go home, but my horse will make it home. And here, so again, the Umpabas and Brulés, the Yanktonais, Lakota Yanktonais, they all chased him, but they couldn't catch up with him. The rest of the survivors of the Crows. They said this little horse with the arrows and two riders on his back, he rode for 300 miles past O'Fallon Creek, past Miles City, and then all the way to almost the town of Forsyth, the present day town of Forsyth. And then finally they rested up that time. And some of the younger men that escaped, they got to some of the creeks there, and they made these small bone horses drink right away, and they all had their hearts stopped beating. And so some of the older ones that came along said, "Don't water your horses right away." Make them walk. They were just foamy and type, I guess. And so they made them walk in the grass until they finally
Calm down.
Yeah, calmed down, and then they made them take a drink of water. So that's how the Spanish Mustang came about in our history. And according to Pinnicoops and Half Yellow Face, who scouted for Custer, they said that their grandfathers, ever since they knew, those Mustangs were always in that area. So that's a little bit of a background history of the Mustang that were among the Crows. And there's a lot of stories from each family. It's not like that now, but each family had a lot of stories about horses. There